Hi, everyone. Welcome to one of my first Facebook Lives. I'm glad you can be with us. Hopefully you can all see us. We've got a couple of people on here yet, so that's kind of cool. What I'm going to do today is we've got our virtuosos coming up, our seminars online, and I'm going to talk to some of the speakers today. And today we've got Lyssah and Lyssah Fry. Hi, Lyssah. Can you guys see her? And we've got a couple of viewers on here. Catherine says hello to both of you. So that's cool. We can see your, I can see your thing. See, there's Catherine. She says hello to both of us.
That's fancy.
Yeah, isn't that kind of fancy?
I like that.
I'm using Be Live, so it's kind of cool. I'm just testing it to see if it's going to work for us, but it is kind of fancy because, yeah, I can go in here and say, there's Denise. She says hello, and there's a little picture of her. Hi, Denise.
So neat.
Yeah, so isn't that cool?
It really is. I remember getting my first Facebook when you had to have like a college email address, and all you could do is like poke people and throw sheep. We have come so far, all the integrations. So
Yeah, no, it's really good. Anyways, it's fun. I'm going to try it this way. There's another program that I might try too on the OBS project, but I kind of like this one because I could do a little frame. See, we've got a little frame here, and it's my logo's right at the top of my head. It's kind of cool. But, well, let me tell you a little bit, guys, about Lyssah Fry. She's going to be one of our speakers at VAVirtuosos.com, my 17th season that I present all these speakers to you. And I've never had Lyssah speak with us before. And I'm excited. She's going to be talking about, and this is going to be great for some of you who are brand new. She's going to be talking about surviving your first year, how to make the leap and land on your feet. So that's exciting. That really perked my interest when I saw that topic, because there is a lot of us that are just starting out in their first year, right? A little bit about Lyssah. She is a VA, writer, coach, and founder of Fry Freelance and Consulting. She's committed to empowering people to walk out their dreams, whether they be in support or coaching role. And I don't know if my VA is online or not. Danielle, if you are, oh, there she is. Shout out to Danielle. Maybe you can put into the chat area for us Lyssah's website and stuff. That would be really cool. But she is an adventurer of heart and sojourner in spirit. Lyssah's greatest dream is to help you discover your own natural rhythm as you thrive and birth beauty in every arena in life. And after 15 years in administrative roles, a corporate setting, she decided to take her journey towards being a virtual assistant as a side hustle in 2016. I love that, side hustle. Yep. And after becoming pregnant with her second, she made the leap from hustle to full steam, and now is a work-at-home mom with two little under 3. Tell me a little bit about those two little kids. How is it working from home with them?
Oh my goodness, it is the most fun and the most challenging thing I think I've ever done. I have my son. He is 2.5, and he is too smart for his own good. And then I have my 10-month-old baby girl, and I joke, I'll put on my Instagram, like working with my coworkers, and my son stuffing cars under my leg while I'm checking a client's email or whatever the things are. It's definitely been, it took an adjustment. And I think that's actually where I encountered my passion for helping people to find their natural rhythm, because you can look at all the different checklists. You can look at all the different, if you want to be a VA, do this and this and this, or do this and this and this, and they're all awesome, but we're all so different, and we're all so, our families and our rhythms and our dynamics are so different that there's a lot of, trial and error trying to find what works for you. And it's definitely been a a challenge, but it's been so much fun. And I love every minute that I get to be with them. My son has a little, one of my old tablet keyboards, and he calls it Cadence Pooter. And so when I'm working on my computer, he'll go Cadence Pooter, and he'll run over and get his little keyboard with the little holder, and he'll just sit there and pretend to be typing. And it's just the cutest thing. So.
Oh, that's so cool. I know that I raised my 3 kids, and Danielle Boschman, who's a VA now, she's one of my kids that I raised. And, I'm not going to tell her age, but she is over 30 now, working as a virtual assistant, right? And I don't know if she remembers, but you find your way to work around the kids. I think the kids never looked for me in the kitchen, with flour on my face or whatever. They'd go to mom's in the office, right? Yeah. That's where I'd be. But I was always there for them, which is kind of cool. If they, my son lost all his teeth bike riding, I was there to go pick him up. You were always there during those moments, and hopefully they appreciate that. I don't know if they do or not, but
I don't know if they're old enough to quite appreciate it yet, but I definitely appreciate it, because with my son, the first year of his life, I was still working. I had my 3-month maternity leave, and then I went back where I was assisting executive directors in a technology department. And I loved the company that I worked for. I loved the people that I worked for. Actually, a previous colleague of mine is on. She made the jump to virtual assisting around the same time. And so shout out to Janine. Hi, Janine. But it was just so hard, because we're in, and it is so spread out here that getting anywhere, you're at least spending an hour and a half in the car every day. And so when you've got a baby, when you've got a little one with you, it's like you get up super early, you wake them up, throw them in the car, drive for 45 minutes to take them to daycare. You go to work for 8 hours, you come back, pick them up, throw them in the car, drive 45 minutes home because of traffic. And then by the time you get them, you've got them for about an hour before it's time to put them to bed. And I've had a lot of people ask me, don't you feel bad working while you're at home with them? And I'm like, I see them so much more, even working from home or putting them in, with a sitter a couple times a week. I see them so much more now than I ever would when I was working in a traditional office setting. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I know, I wouldn't trade it either. It was the best way to, originally I started the virtual assistant business because it was, to get a babysitter for 3 kids was craziness. I couldn't afford that as a single mother. So that's why I did start. And you find your groove, don't you? Yeah. When you can work, I remember my kids, I could probably get a good hour out of all 3 of them being quiet in the afternoon if I put on a Barney tape. And I know that's showing my age, right? But it was what it was. And I was sitting right there with them. They were watching their tape. They were quiet for 1 hour. And it was great. It worked for me. Now, was I a bad mother putting them in front of Barney? Maybe. But I was there for them too, right? So, it wasn't quality time, but it was time with them, right?
And I think it really goes, life is a trade-off. The same thing. You can, whether we all try to do what's right by our family or what's right by our lifestyle that we're trying to cultivate, whether we're single, whether we're parents, whatever the case is, we're trying to build something that is impacting and giving the best that we know have, or the best that we know how, the best we have to give. And I think that it really does come to needing that flexibility and asking yourself, what is the give? What is the take? When I was a working mom, I definitely struggled. And when I say working, I mean like traditional working outside the home. I struggled with guilt all the time, feeling bad because I wasn't with my kids. And then it's like, but I realized when I wasn't with my kids, I appreciated that dedicated time I had with them so much more. And now that I'm there more often, I'm getting that quantity as I might be trading a little bit, not as intensive of an hour and a half focused on them, but now I've got more time throughout the day. So it's like you said, you find your groove, you find your rhythm. And that's actually one of the things that I'm looking forward to kind of sharing is when you can identify what works for you, what works for your own life, rather than trying to force everything into the ideal that you think this is what being a VA looks like, or this is what doing X, Y, and Z looks like to be successful. That's the most freeing thing that you're ever going to encounter. And that's what's going to build that life for you or for you and your family that is so sustainable and so enriching, not just draining, So.
How old are your kids again?
2.5 and 10 months almost. My little girls are Christmas Day babies.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the audience, do any of you guys have kids at home? I mean, share with us. And if you have any questions for Lyssah too about working from home while you have small children, feel free to put them into our chat box and I will ask her for sure. Where are you located now, Lyssah? Where do you live?
I am just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally West Coast native, California, but I relocated here in 2010. And so I'm in a very small community, probably about 30 minutes west of downtown Nashville. So.
Okay. Now, is your business, are you a general administrative or do you have a specialty at all, or what do you do with your business?
When I started out doing more general tasks. With having an administrative background, it just made the most sense to jump in doing what I knew I could do and what I knew I could do well. And so I did, calendar management and email management and travel and events and all that kind of stuff. And then once I made the full-time leap and I really was able to get like my bench clients, I've been able to expand and learn more about, podcasts and webinars and different things like that. So I've been able to branch into a little bit of specialized activity. And that's actually, I'm at the point now where once I, replaced my full-time income and I had the bench depth to be able to say, okay, what's the next steps? I'm actually working at now expanding into my goal is to actually have Fry Freelance be a general and specialized, but having people who know what they're doing and who are connected with us. So we've actually kind of started expanding. We've brought on a proofreader. We've brought on someone who specializes in instructional design to help with webinars and different things like that. So we're really looking to, that's kind of like our, okay, year 2, what are we doing? We've gone beyond just saying this and now we're, so I guess for me personally, I tend to handle more of the administrative things and then as well as the business side, the back end of the business. So.
Awesome. I know even like a lot of first-time virtual assistants, they wonder, what is our niche? What is our niche? Sometimes your niche just finds you.
It does.
It really does. And don't get too caught up on that in the beginning because I first started out doing logos and web design and stuff like that just because I liked it. But then I found out that without a website, this was back in the times when there was such a thing as search engine optimization, that type of thing. If you had a website and it couldn't be found, it wasn't of much use to you. So that's what directed me to go into that area. And now it's like drifted even further. It changes all the time. Like now that there's no SEO really so much, now it's more social media marketing and email marketing and funnels. And, you tend to drift around on your niche sometimes, unless you're like a Infusionsoft VA or whatever. That's
super specialized.
But good for you. I'm just seeing if there's any questions here. I don't see any questions yet, guys. We've got a few viewers in here. Thanks for joining us for our first Facebook Live. That's really cool. I see some reactions here. So we've got some likes and different things. That's very cool. Lyssah is one of our speakers coming up at our Virtual Assistant Conference. I'm going to give you the link to that. I'm going to try something different here. If I can put in, let's see what happens. There's her link.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. It's vavirtuosos.com/Lyssah Fry. Okay, and I'll leave that up for a couple of minutes because you can go there, guys, and we've got over $10,000 in prizes to give away at our event. And you can get one free draw ticket just by signing up there at Lyssah's link. You don't have to sign up for the event right now. Just sign up and get your draw ticket. Basically, you're signing up to our newsletter, okay? Yeah, go over there and check it out. and you'll want to attend. Trust me, we're in our 17th season, and we've got awesome speakers speaking with us, like Lyssah right here. Lyssah, let me go in and get a little bit deeper with you. So let's see, what can I ask you? What do you have any tips for those just starting out as a virtual assistant? Maybe something that you've learned and want to share with others?
Totally. I think the biggest tip I have is, oh, sorry. All of a sudden got a lot of feedback. The biggest tip that I have, I think, is it's more of a, I guess you could say like a feely tip as opposed to a technical tip. And that is have grace for yourself. It can be really easy to, again, feel like you're not, like, oh, I've been at this for a while and this isn't all just falling into place, or, oh, so-and-so over here in this Facebook group just landed their like 5th client and I'm sitting here trying to land my first. Like, it's really easy to compare yourself and to compare your journey with someone else's. And really, you've got to have grace for you. You've got to have grace to let yourself learn. That was one of the hardest things for me when I started with my first full-time client. I messed up, and because you're working virtually with people, you don't necessarily have that emotional bank account with them. So it's like, I messed up, and I'm like, they're like, okay, and you're like, is that like a real okay, or is that like a I'm upset okay, or like, and I remember feeling like they're gonna fire me. Like, I know they're gonna fire me because I messed that up, and it really wasn't a big deal. But you don't have that like that stability that you might have when you're working in person with people regularly. And so you've got to learn that people have grace for yourself. There's a learning curve, and I think that was the biggest thing that I didn't anticipate when I made the jump from in an office to it being completely virtual. Was there's not the verbal cues, there's not the body language, and I'm very much an emoting person, and so all of a sudden I'm like, all I have is text in Slack. Are they happy? Are they not happy? I don't know. So yeah, have grace for yourself and recognize there's going to be a learning curve is probably my biggest tip. And then secondly, it's be a learner. Be someone who is willing to learn, and don't be afraid of things. If you see someone, if you're in those Facebook groups, because I know a lot of us are in, different kinds of Facebook groups, whether it's the Virtual Assistant Virtuoso or whether it's, the Virtual Savvies, or there's all these different awesome networks. Utilize those networks. I think that's really what has been the saving grace for me when I was making my initial transition. Is I had a couple friends that we had all embarked on this virtual assistant journey kind of around the same time. And so we created our own Slack channel. And then I later found out that's a mastermind. And so now we have our own little mastermind group. And I can't tell you how awesome these women have been, the support system. When you're working virtually, you can get very isolated. And when you're isolated, you can start looking at things in a vacuum that says, I'm not doing good, or this isn't happening as fast as it should, or whatever the case is. But as you actually network and push yourself to continue to establish relationship in the industry with other virtual assistants, online business managers, with other people who are in your niche, and really work on developing the connection with people and serving people, it's amazing how many things start to fall into place, because you're not just yes, hustle, yes, work, yes, put your everything into it. But at the same time, like, recognize that it's a lot more relational than you would think being in a virtual position. Does that make any sense? Like,
oh, definitely. And having accountability with your peers. I mean, there's like a couple of I have a few mastermind groups of my own that I'm a part of. And one of my favorite ones is just with my best friend, who's also an online marketer. And her and I just like every day we're catching up. Shout out to Lynn Terry there, because, we're always catching up on business stuff, whether it be business or personal or whatever, and just supporting each other and rah-rahing each other on. You need that. There's some days when I'm working virtually that I'll think, oh my gosh, I haven't went outside for like 3 weeks or something. Not that bad. It'll be a week since I've got my car. I went to drive my car the other day, and it had rained so much, and I hadn't drove the car for like 2.5 weeks. because you can walk a lot around here. But it was so full of water that it left a trail all the way up the hill of water leaking out the back of it, right?
Oh my goodness.
It's like, but yeah, you gotta stay accountable. Find some friends. Find an accountability group. I mean, there's ones out there like our VAinsiders.com. There, but you can also just get some friends that you found on in a group that you connect with and that are in the same business as you, and be there for each other, support each other, because that really helps you move forward and gives you something to smile about. Oh crap, I got to get that done for tomorrow, or so and so is going to think, you know,
exactly,
I'm a deadbeat if I don't get that done, right?
It's amazing how much that positive reinforcement and that positive peer pressure really, it does keep you on track. It keeps you motivated. We have we use Slack, and so we have our own Slack channel, and we have actually every Thursday or Friday there's a prompt that's like, hey, remember to share your win for the week. Hey, remember this. And so you're constantly thinking about, okay, what do I want to share this week? And we've got a channel that's literally like, we call it VA help. And it's like, I don't know how to do this, or I'm not sure can anyone recommend a tool or something? And it really is amazing how much time you save by investing in that relationship. And the same thing goes with your clients. Like, and again, I think that caught me by surprise when I transitioned into a virtual world. I didn't realize how much of it was going to be relational. I'm not a big networker. I'm more like let me sit and do my thing and that kind of stuff. But really, like, that networking, that connecting, that, you know, that's how I've gotten some of my best clients. Is I had relationship with people and they're like, I can't take this on. Do you want me to introduce you? Yeah, that'd be great. You know, and I've been able to introduce other people in the same way, because my client's like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, I can't do this, but I might know someone else who can. Like, it's really the wheel. It's the circle of life. You know what I mean? It's the circle of virtual life. So.
And Lyssah, what I'm going to suggest you do after we get off this webinar, we do have a Facebook group for VA Virtuosos. And Lyssah, maybe you can go in there. We'll maybe do a little post about you in there first, and then maybe you can share some of those groups and stuff with your people.
I'd love to do that.
Stuff, okay? And then you'll be able to find them there, guys. And Danielle, if you're here, you can share that group link with the group, the VA Virtuosos group. It's past and present attendees. So, and all the speakers are in there. So that's a way you can connect up with them, which is kind of cool. And getting to know the speakers beforehand is something that I thought would be really different and good. I'm way out of my comfort zone, like I was saying in my email last night. I've got 11 scheduled this week. This is our first. I think it's going awesome. What do you think?
I think so too. I was scared, but I think this is really awesome.
Yeah, and I see that Amber, she has a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, so she's just learning the balance, and so are they. Awesome, Amber. Yeah.
My heart, Amber. I'm right there with you. So.
Yeah, there's so many little things, and I'm sure, Lyssah, you will explain some of these on your webinar when you're speaking with us. But I remember even having this thing I hung on the doorknob, and it would mean Mama's working, right? And it was just like, that would be when I'd have to do the conversations on the phone or something. I didn't want one of the kids coming in screaming, right? But, you know.
And they always do. That's exactly when they're going to come in and scream, is when you're on the call.
Yeah. No, and it's the same as when I'm doing a webinar or Facebook. I don't know if you just heard it. There's always a train goes by, honks the horn. So let's see. Let's talk about on another aspect here before I let you go. Lyssah, you're okay for time here?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about maybe some nuggets of advice for maybe a client if they're considering hiring you. What would you, just some nuggets of advice about hiring a virtual assistant from anything that you might think of?
Again, I think part of it comes back to relationship, and it's recognizing that it may not feel the same right away when you're hiring someone virtually as opposed to someone you would be working with in the office. But that doesn't mean that it can't still be an enriching relationship. I guess a practical application with that would be when you're getting to know a potential virtual assistant, jump on a Zoom call or a Skype call and really kind of see, is this someone who I'm going to work well with? Because ideally, a virtual assistant is not an employee. A virtual assistant is someone who is partnering with you to help lift your business. I think that took me a little while to like wrap my brain around, because I was very used to being an assistant who was an employee as opposed to an assistant who was a partner. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things that I think if you go into a relationship or as you go into vetting out an assistant, don't just look, is this someone who can get X, Y, and Z done? Look and say, is this someone who I can see myself partnering with and who is going to bring lift to what it is I'm trying to do? I think people get disappointed when because there isn't that regular interaction, like where you're like, hey, let me get you a coffee. Hey, how was the weekend? Hey, how was, and so those tasks can, lots of people can point and click and do tasks, and that's awesome. And if that's all you need, perfect. But if you're really looking for a long-term solution, take the time, find someone who you feel like is bringing a partner, not just a process. So I think that's probably my biggest one.
And sometimes it takes, you have to go through a few frogs to find that prince, right?
Yeah, and it's not that frogs are awesome. It's not that person is a frog for everybody. Again, it's finding that fit for you. And the same thing with virtual assistants, like as you guys are looking and you're interacting and you're on those discovery calls, look not just to have a paycheck coming in, look to who can I partner with to see them succeed? Who can I serve and come alongside and really find the value of what I'm doing because they're finding it and getting them to what they're trying to do. And I think when you both come at it from that direction, you are going to have a fulfilling working relationship. That's not just, here's your task list, here's your to-do list. You can get stuff done, or you can burst the seams and get stuff done. So.
Yeah, and it's a personality click too, a lot of the time, because if you don't like working for someone or don't like someone or whatever it is, it's not going to last very long. You're not going to enjoy it. So it is an interview process from both sides, right? Yeah. And well, thanks. That was a great answer. We're getting up to the top of the hour here, Lyssah. I'm going to put your link up here again. I want you to come and see Lyssah speaking with us. I can't remember which day you speak with us, but
November 9th, I think.
Yeah, okay. And she's going to be, again, talking about surviving your first year, how to make the leap and land on your feet. And I'm really excited about that. Lyssah, do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers before we head off here or anything?
I think if I could share anything, there is something inside you that's driving you to either build your own business or to be in a place where you're looking for a virtual assistant, or you're considering, is this something I want to do? Like we're all at different places, but the whole point is there is something inside us that's driving, and that is an innate part of who you are. And the best thing that you can do is roll with that. Don't try, like if you aren't content in a 9-to-5, don't stay in a 9-to-5. If you are not content, just doing your entrepreneurship, don't settle, I guess is what I would say. Like, life is too short to settle. Find what it is, that rhythm that drives you, and dance to it like crazy. So
yes, definitely go for it. And thank you so much, Lyssah, for sharing with us today. Again, go check out, sign up, get your free ticket. We've got $10,000 in prizes. Go to vavirtuosos.com/Lyssah Fry, and that link's right there. And sign up, at least get your free ticket to get into the prizes, guys. And otherwise, I hope you'll be attending our event. Tickets are only $37 to listen to all 20 of the speakers, amazingly enough. And we have other tickets for $97 if you want to get the recordings, and we have some upsells there for you too as well. But $37 if you're brand new and you've got a week of time on your hands, you're going to want to come to our online conference. It's going to be fun. 17th season. Check it out. And this is Lyssah's affiliate link, guys. So that's why it looks a little weird there, but it's my way of thanking her for coming on and doing a Facebook Live too. So sign up under Lyssah Fry. And thanks, Lyssah, for being with us. It was awesome. Our first Facebook Live.
Yay.
Perfect.
Thank you, Tawnya. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.